I know what she should put on. An accountant.
Or a calculator.
Calculator will do it.
Where would we be at this time of year without our long-standing Yuletide traditions? Frank Hersey and his mum Babs hope to capitalise on one such custom with their festive jumper designs.
4 years ago, I had to make him a jumper because we couldn't find one anywhere.
Now we're looking for your help in our business, Woolly Babs.
An impressive, if noisy, range.
Children's jumpers, T-shirts, jumper dresses, dog jumpers.
But for one dragon, Frank and Babs' novelty knitwear was a step too far.
I was going to be polite and say maybe I could wear one on Christmas Day.
I'd love to see you wear one.
But I don't think I would. And I think if anybody else did that came to visit me...
We do have the Bar Humbug one for you.
Peter Jones did try to root out their money-making potential.
What's your forecast for this year?
A turnover of 70,000 this year.
What will be your Christmas sales in relation to that 70,000?
Around about 55,000 out of the 70.
Wow.
Are you making a profit on the ones that you're selling?
Yes.
You probably made that profit before deducting the rent in the office, somebody's salary, VAT on the sale of the jumpers. So if you scale it, see where your profit's going. Down the plug hole.
So, no investment, but Frank and Babs did at least leave with words of comfort from the dragons. Well, one.
You're lovely. And this is lovely. And they just look lovely. And I'm desperately trying to
Be lovely.
Be lovely. I'm desperately trying. But I honestly can't get that it's scalable. I'm sorry, I know.
It's one of the great paradoxes of modern society. The more industrial we become, the more we crave handcrafted, homemade goods. This is something our next entrepreneur, Alison Whitmarsh from Huddersfield, has taken advantage of.
Lovely.
Hello, my name's Alison and I'm here today to ask for a £50,000 investment for 10% equity in my company, Proper Made and the Ladies Who Bake. My vision at the very beginning was to create an army of ladies baking cakes with the same passion as home baking as I do myself. But I knew passion alone wouldn't be enough to get a slice of the £600 million home baking market as it stands today. So what we've created is a range of traditional cakes alongside our unique flavours. So I'd just like to give you an introduction to 4 of the cakes. The first one is the Victoria Vanilla, as this to me represents everything good about the home baking. The second is our licorice cake, and this won a gold star at the Great Taste Awards last year. The next one is dandelion and burdock cake. The final one is a Christmas dinner cake, which has all the elements of Christmas in, minus the turkey and the gravy. So in this one you've got sprouts, carrots, parsnips, cranberries, chestnuts, oranges, and it's all mixed together with some Christmas spices. Believe me, it tastes delicious. Thank you.
Never before has the den seen such a mouth-watering display.
So a bit of each one?
You've got a bit of each
Oh,
one that
lovely.
I've just talked about.
But is Alison Whitmarsh's business as tempting?
Which is the Christmas one?
That's the Christmas one there.
Can I have a cup of tea, please?
She's hoping the dragons will see potential in her Huddersfield-based home-baked cake range and take a 10% stake in exchange for £50,000. Hilary Devey looks intrigued.
Alison.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Hilary. First of all, go through your own background and how you had the vision. And
I've always spent my whole working life in food manufacturing. I started off developing recipe dishes for well-known retail brands, and then I moved into manufacturing. And I did that until I had children, and then I found it very difficult to actually manage a senior production manager role. So I packed it all in and became a dinner lady. So then, after being a dinner lady, I started in my home kitchen, just baking. I did my first farmer's market, sold out completely, and then it's just exploded. We've doubled our turnover year on year, and this year we're on track to hit £250,000 with a net profit of £36,000. And I forgot what I was saying then. And, you know...
You're demonstrating your passion.
Yeah, sorry.
Whether it's the cake or not, Alison is clearly endearing herself to the Dragons. Duncan Bannatyne wants to drill down into the business itself.
You're saying it's going to make £36,000 net profit this year?
Yeah.
So who is your biggest customer?
My biggest customer is a corporate caterer, and they supply all the arts, the museums in Leeds.
And what's just going to come from that customer?
Well, they spend, on average, I think about £800 a week.
40,000 a year?
Yeah.
And how many people do you employ?
12 people, so 12 ladies and 1 token man.
Very good. How do you physically get the cakes delivered from your unit?
I have a delivery man.
So if somebody 100 miles away wanted some cakes, you couldn't...
Then I do use a distribution company. We're at a stage now where a lot of our new customers are further afield. We've just picked up a contract to supply all the music festivals, so that one will be a national distribution.
Alison, hi. That contract, so who is it? How big is it?
It's a company called Etopia, and they do all the backstage catering for all the music festivals.
What kind of, quantity do you think?
Depending on the festivals, it can be anything from 3,000 units up to 40,000 units.
And what's that worth to you in value terms?
On that contract alone, about £40,000.
What do you think's going to happen in the future? What's the next point?
I think if we worked more smartly, we could hit possibly £1 million on where we are now. But I do believe that what we have created, it could be extended all over the UK.
Expansion plans and lucrative new contracts. It's not just the products that are appealing to the multimillionaires. Can Peter Jones find a reason to invest?
I think you've done amazingly well.
Thank you.
As everybody said, the cakes are fantastic. I am sitting here, though, thinking that as you start to really grow this business, how do you retain this sort of home cooking style?
Well, there's 2 ways we could go. We could either build a massive factory, so we could increase the output, but I think we'd lose everything about the brand. So
Yeah, I agree.
it is difficult. So do I do it that scale, or can I do what we've created in Huddersfield and replicate it somewhere else in Scotland or in the south? And then logistically, we can still keep all the elements of the brand, like the local sourcing.
But actually, that's huge duplication, isn't it?
Yes.
You need to really work through the economies of scale to get those costs down. I can't see at the moment a way that you could make this a really big business. But when I say big, I mean turning over several million and making a couple of £100,000 a year, which is what you'll need to do as you grow if I've invested £50,000. So I can't find a way to invest in you because I think this is a localised, unscalable business. So Alison, I'm not going to invest today. I'm going to say that I'm out.
A worrying analysis of her expansion plans. It's a first setback for Alison. And Duncan Bannatyne looks to have made up his mind too.
Unfortunately, this business has been driven by a fantastic, energetic lady called Alison, who loves what she does, loves the people that work for her, and loves the business. You take Alison out, and you have a problem. How do you fill that space?
I do think there's other people like me out there, I really do. And I'd like to at least open another one. It's just employing the right people. I'm not there a lot of the unit now, and I still think I don't need to be there anymore. I'm selling, I'm on the road a lot.
So you're still there in the business, selling, going on the road, and then going back and making sure your cakes are baked the right way. Unfortunately, I think this business relies a little bit too much on you, and I think it's going to be hard to expand it. So for that reason only, I'm going to have to tell you that where I am, and I'm afraid that, Alison, I wish you the best of luck, but I'm out.
Thank you.
Alison, how much do you think it costs to send a cake from Huddersfield to, let's say London, for keep it simple?
Well, I've been quoted anything from £50 a pallet to about £80 a pallet.
Okay, so what's the shelf life of a proper made cake?
Made fresh is 7 days, but...
Refrigerate in a...
Some of them need refrigeration, some of them don't. Obviously, if it's got the cream cheese on, then you would have to refrigerate it. But we've also got customers now that are wanting to take it frozen as well. I mean, I've just been in a discussion with Naffy, who's very interested in taking the Christmas dinner cake.
I'm not surprised. I think it should.
As again, they're quite keen to get it out to Afghanistan over the next Christmas period.
I don't normally eat cake. That's lovely.
And they would take it as a frozen product.
Right. I couldn't disagree more with Peter and Duncan. I actually think you can scale it. I think you certainly can get the sort of turnover that Peter mentioned, several million. I think the dilemma is not whether you can do it or not. The dilemma is that what you want?
Yes, definitely is. I went in this, really, to build a national brand, and I still believe we can do it, but obviously with your help.
An earnest plea from the passionate entrepreneur, but as yet, no offers of cash. However, there are still 3 dragons left in.
You're very impressive, Alison. I think you have got it pretty buttoned down. If you put preservatives in, lengthen its shelf life, you're just going to become the same as everything else. The point is that you're not. That's the whole thing about this business. And you're bang on with that. You know, people they're looking for, they want homemade, they don't want the bother of homemade. And everything nowadays, however lovely it looks synthetic. So I get there is a big market in that. There are hurdles, obviously, ahead of you. And I think this is not an easy thing to scale. But actually, I think you would be a good person to scale it. So I'm going to make you an offer.
Thank you.
£50,000. And I want 25% of the business.
Right.
At last, an offer of investment, but for 2.5 times the equity Alison initially wanted to give away. Now, will logistics expert Hilary Devey choose to compete?
My worry is that the more premises you take on, the lower the margin becomes. And I think you need to go into high-volume places.
But I think that's the type of customer that are now approaching me. So I need the scale. I'm targeting the bigger players now, the corporate caterers.
Because unless you can distribute in volume, you'll never, ever make a margin.
No.
For me, the only way you could see it happening is to have perhaps another 2 or 3 manufacturing bases. And yeah, I could do all that for you. I could help you. Look, I've thought about it, and I just don't know if there's enough in it for me to put the time into it. So, reluctantly, I'm going to say I'm out, but I've got to say, you are marvellous.
Thank you.
So that just leaves me. Deborah's already made you an offer for £50,000 for 25% of the business. How do you feel about such a large percentage?
If you'd asked me that, you know, a few months ago, I would have been reluctant. But I'm in this, really. My get-out plan was always I sell the business at 50.
How many years have
5.
you got? 5 years?
I'm 45 now, yeah. I do believe, with your help, then I could still have that dream.
Look, if that's your dream of getting this business